Did somebody say they want an entire video on socks?
This is your first time here. This is where I review a product I have bought, I have no sponsorship or bias towards, and have put through the ringer. Who am I? I've been mountaineering, climbing, and backpacking for over 20 years. I'm the guy who intentionally gets lost in the woods to see if I can survive and get out with only the gear on my back. I'm the guy who buys and tests out all this gear so that you don't have to. Welcome to Short Road.
That's right. Socks. Today, we going down a hole of socks. So, a couple things with socks. First off, don't overthink it. They're socks. You've been wearing them your whole life. Don't worry about all the brands, the types, the cushionings, the lengths, the sizes. They're socks. I'm going to kind of break these down and try to keep it as simple as possible. First and foremost, a sock is just the barrier between your foot and your boot or your trail running shoe. That's it. The sock's purpose is to maybe provide some more cushion, but ultimately to keep those feet comfortable. And by comfortable, I mean dry, no blisters, no rubbing. That is it. Some of these socks will provide more cushion. Some are going to provide a little more protection. Others are going to provide a little more warmth or breathability. But in essence, that's all a sock is. It's not groundbreaking. It's a sock. Laid out before me, I have a bunch of different kinds of socks, different brands, different weights, different cushions, different uses. So again, like most things, the most important thing to consider is, what are you using them for? If you're doing anything where you're just going to be basically using trail running shoes, definitely go with a low or a crew, as they call them sometimes. Definitely going to be way more comfortable, less baggage up there. A benefit to using maybe a crew instead of a no-show, especially depending on what pants you're going to be using, you will protect your legs a bit more from bugs, from plants, and definitely from dirt. So that is a benefit. But for the most part, keep it simple. There's a bunch of different kinds. These are smart wools. These are the ones I typically use. They go up above the ankle a bit. They're going to be like a mid-thick with minimal targeted cushioning, because that's what works for me. So there's going to be a little bit more cushioning in the heel and a little bit more in the ball of the foot. And that's kind of where I want it. I don't want an all-around cushioned sock unless I'm going to be going somewhere that is cold and I'm going to be on my feet for a long time. Then I may consider it just for that warmth factor. But for the most part, I want my shoes or my boots to be doing their job, not the socks. Here we got our basic liner socks. So these are very thin. I use basically more for mountaineering, especially when it's going to be really warm at the bottom. So as an example, when I was on Denali, I used these smart wheels. I think you use these wigwams too. As you can see, they're like permanently stained, but props to wigwam. Like, there's no holes in them. They're so good. They're just permanently stained with dirt. So these are going to be good because they are going to provide protection. They're going to come up definitely higher on my leg, which is where I want it if I'm wearing like a double boot. These are going to keep my feet a bit cooler in those boots, especially lower down on the mountain when sometimes it does get pretty warm. They are really good at protecting my feet from blisters, keeping them cool. I do like the smart wool. They fit well. I think they're really well made. But that said, they're socks. Get something thin, something durable, just to protect from blisters. But otherwise, they're liners. They're there to keep your feet cool in warm boots. Then we get to the meat and potatoes of socks, which is going to be your mid-weight sock. So this is what I wear most of the time. These, for the most part, are going to be merino wool. I do find merino wool definitely works the best at temperature regulation, smells, just cleanliness overall. So we got a couple of Bents. Again, these are the Patagonias, which I really like, but they don't make. Really similar to like the Farm to Pete's. And then also, these are another smart wool. These are going to be a little bit thicker, so they have a use, but overall, you're not really going to need like a thicker sock for the most part. There's socks here from Patagonia, Labent, which is another brand I really like. There's Smart Wools. Farm to Feet is another good one that I like. Also, big fan of the Darn Toughs. They're pretty solid. I also like, they got a little bling. This one has a little rocket ship. Can't beat that. This one has a bear. Come on. It's awesome. The elastic is really, really good. The fit is really good. Just make sure you get that right size. But these are solid overall hiking socks. So if you're looking for one and you just want to keep it simple, I would definitely go with Darn Toughs. After your mids, you're going to get to your heavies. So here's basically a heavy. Sometimes they call them mountaineering socks, even though if you are mountaineering, I do not suggest you use these. These are really thick. Are they warm? They're warmer than a typical sock. They're definitely going to be warmer than these, but they fill up a lot of volume in that boot. And the one thing I do notice is a lot of people who have, circulation problems, i.e. frostbite, it's not because of the cold, it's because their boots are getting too tight. So wearing something like this, I think personally is just going to promote a tighter fit in that boot, which is again going to cut off circulation, which will lead to frostbite, which you do not want. That said, when I am doing a longer trip, mountaineering trip, I will actually bring one of these. So these are the REI versions. These are the Smart Wools. I don't even know what these are, but I use these a lot. As you can see, kind of normal on the outside. Inside it has like a fleece material. So I will take one of these with me on those trips, but I will never put them in a boot. So they're basically just going to be my casual lounging sleeping socks. So when I'm stuck in the tent, I will throw on these socks, or if it's really cold, I will throw on these socks inside my sleeping bag. That works for me. It's also nice at the end of the day to put on a nice clean pair of socks that are warm. So it's kind of like a comfort item, but it does definitely help keep my feet warmer in general. Are they necessary? No. Do I like them for that reason? Yes. Would I hike or climb a mountain wearing these? No. There's one other category that I am going to throw out there that I have also found pretty useful. These you're probably not going to be using for hiking at all, but for mountaineering that have padding on the shin. Sometimes when you're going down after you reach the summit or don't, either way, when you're going down the mountain, there's a lot of shin bang going on. Skiers and snowboarders get it all the time. So I tested these out actually climbing in Russia. These actually worked really well, and these I used with the Olympus Mons. So they did provide definitely a little more cushion. I didn't get like blisters on my shins, which will sometimes happen. And again, these I would say are the mid layer. The only difference between these two, kind of mid-layer socks is there is this cushion on the shin. So I definitely recommend checking these out. These are the Smart Wools or the Lebens, but check out anything that's a ski or snowboard specific sock, and they will have this kind of padding on there. So if that is an issue that you find that you get, definitely look into these. So when it comes to brands, there's really not a ton, and there doesn't really need to be, in my opinion. For the most part, they're all going to be really, really good, really quality socks. The warranties, I would definitely keep an eye on. That's the one caveat, perhaps. But for the most part, you're going to have your Smart Wools, which is probably the most popular. You have your Patagonias as well, the Farm to Feet, which is also Patagonia sells. Then you're going to have your Wigwam, your Icebreakers, Lebens. REI sells their own socks. Nike actually sells their own socks, which I do actually use these, the ACG line. Kind of looks like a 2-in-1 sock. Does have really nice grip, nice elastic, so it definitely stays in place. Has a nice little heel cup. Again, another option you can go with. But for the most part, that's going to be your brands. There are obviously a lot of other brands out there, but for the big, I would say the big five, I would definitely keep my eye on those. My go-to sock, which they don't even make anymore, unfortunately, are these Patagonia merino wools. So That is the one I use probably the most. But are they any different than like these Lebents or, you know, your Darn Toughs? Probably not. But again, try to find out what works for you, just like anything when you're going hiking. Again, they're socks. You know, don't overthink it. It's not rocket science. Find what fits, don't get blisters, and you'll be set. In terms of the materials, you have your regular wool socks, which they still make. You have your merino wool. They really do a good job at regulating temperature. They can help with heat. They can help with cool. They're also comfortable. They don't smell for the most part. I've had some that do get smelly. And then after that, you have your synthetics, which again have their uses. They're probably going to be the coolest of all socks. So if you are going in warm weather, I would definitely look into synthetics as well. These are basically synthetic cotton, just like anything, stay away from. In terms of cushioning, my advice is let the boot and the insert do that work for you, not the sock. So I'm always kind of a fan of a little extra cushioning, targeted is what they like to call it, on the heel and the forefoot, under the ball of my foot. It does help a bit, but for the most part, if I had to choose, I would probably go no cushion or very limited. Little tip, when you are done hiking for the day and you are getting in that tent, take off your socks. Let those feet breathe, air out the socks. I'll often put like the socks on the outside of my tent, as long as, you know, weather permitting. It's not going to be raining or anything, and air those out. And then when you put them on again, I mean, it makes all the difference in the world. Otherwise, yeah, put some socks on, get out there. See you next time.